If you want to close more deals, you're going to watch this video. If you want to become more persuasive, you're going to watch this video. If you have a business, you're going to watch this video. If you don't have this, you can watch this video. But if you don't want to get better at the art of negotiation and persuasion and actually being able to be put in a position where people are going to give their money to you in exchange for some sort of product or service, then don't watch this video. That's the truth. So if you're still here, congratulations, you're about to learn something very special. So my cousin was able to close his first ever deal, $900 paid up front. And he came to me with a very specific problem before this happened. He said, look, I have this client, he's interested in coaching, but I've never asked for money before. I've never put an offer together before. I don't even know how to approach this. What I said was, don't worry, give me your phone. And I crafted a message with my years of experience in closing deals after deals after deals. I've closed millions of dollars via video calls or DMs or even regular phone calls or even in person. And there's an art to this. I'm going to teach you the art to this. And before I teach you the art to this, I'm going to explain this to you very simply. Sales is never about pushing a product or service onto somebody. It's always about getting the avatar right in front of you to their desired outcome and be able to hold their hand through the process. Okay. Now you could do this in a lot of different ways, but I'm going to show you how exactly I did it in this DM. Now in this DM, I wrote, hey brother, I'm going to price you at $80. It's usually $100 for the assessment where we will study your strengths and weaknesses to build a plan to get you much stronger and mobile. This will pretty much lay the foundation for your calisthenics journey. The session is intense and will all be documented to build a practical plan. Whenever it's appropriate with you, send the funds to, this is my cousin's email where he was supposed to send the funds, the client. Mike told me not to discount any sessions, but since you're a man of action, I'm happy to do it for you so we can potentially get started this week. When you get it done, let me know. Ask any questions if you need to. Now, what was the result of this DM? Within 10 minutes, my cousin gets a notification on his phone that this individual sent him $80 for a 1-hour session. Later on that week, my cousin got paid in full $900 for all 10 sessions up front. Why did this message work so well? It seems so straightforward. Well, remember, I told you, it's all about applied psychology. It's all about taking the avatar that we spoke about to their desired outcome. Now, if you don't understand what I'm talking about when it comes to avatars and whatnot, I made a video on this, and it's the exact marketing fast tracking formula I use for every single one of my businesses that I've either created myself or consulted in. And you can watch that video, that the description is down below. And if you don't understand business in general, there's a video on the business engine, which got me to my first $1 million at the age of 21. So you can watch those videos first, come back here, and then everything's going to make a lot of sense. Okay, so this specific avatar, I had my cousin explain it to me real quick. So as I take his phone, I'm like, all right, cool, give me your phone quickly. What is this guy's desire? Okay, he wants to get stronger, he wants to get more mobile, and he actually wants to be a strong calisthenics athlete. Okay, what is his financial situation? Oh, he makes good money, but he doesn't really have that much time on his hands, and therefore he wants a coach. Okay, fantastic. So here's what I started off as. I said, okay, well, how much is a 1-hour session? He said the 1-hour session could be anywhere between $80 to $100. Well, what do you want to do? Well, to be honest, I just want to get started with him. I wanted to pay for coaching, whether that be $80 or $100. So what I did here was I'm like, you know what? We're not going to get him on a coaching call. What we're going to do is we're going to get him on an assessment. And now what is the assessment going to do? Why is this very, very important? Well, the assessment creates a plan for the avatar to be able to transform into the desired outcome. That is why we created an assessment. So instead of saying, hey, by the way, we're just going to start coaching right away, here's the payment link, you could just fill that out. That's pretty pushy. And that's going to put our client, our avatar who wants to do this coaching program, it's going to raise their guard. They're going to now have sales resistance, and they're going to say, wait, I'm not 100% ready for this. I don't know the plan. What are we even going to do? What's included? Now, what I did here was I said, we're going to have an assessment where we will study your strengths and weaknesses to build a plan to get you much stronger and mobile. What did I do here? There's a few things I did in this first sentence. Hey, brother, right off the bat, nonchalant, we have a good relationship, cool. I'm going to price you at $80. $80 is a good price. But what I did was I put in a price anchor. A price anchor is a price that is typically higher that you're going to anchor a client at in order to show them a better price that is going to seem a lot less. Okay, so for example, one thing I do is I always have a very high ticket offer, and worst case scenario, if the client doesn't close, I'm able to now price anchor that high ticket offer, which could be 6 figures, by the way, for a one-time payment. And we can have them pay, okay, cool. Like you can buy this one very low ticket offer for $100. That $100 thing is very low compared to spending 6 figures on one offer with me. All right. It's a no brainer. Oh, $100 and I still get to experience working with you. So price anchors work very, very well. So what I did here was I said, it's going to be $80 for the assessment, but it's usually $100 for the assessment, where we are going to study your strengths and weaknesses. See what I'm doing here? I'm showing him what exactly he's going to get out of the assessment. I could have just said, okay, we're going to have an assessment and this is how much it is. And no, we're going to study your strengths and weaknesses to build a plan to get you much more stronger and mobile. Why did I say this specific line? Because I'm focusing on the outcome that he wants. I'm focusing on the transformation that he wants. My cousin told me within 2 minutes, I'm like, okay, what is his desired outcome? What is it that he wants? He said, bro, he just wants to get stronger and more mobile. That's what he said. Okay, great. That's exactly what we need. We will study his strengths and weaknesses in this assessment to build a plan to get him much stronger and mobile. This will pretty much lay the foundation for his calisthenics journey. What did I do here? I made it seem like this is a journey, that I am going to be the guide helping him on his journey. This is why it's very important that you watch that marketing video, because it explains it a little better. I'm the guide helping him on his journey, and he is going to be indulging on this journey with me, and I'm going to help him get through it, okay, by creating a plan that is going to get him to his desired outcome. The session is intense and will all be documented to build a practical plan. Why did I say this? Because in his mind, he's thinking, oh, well, this is just an assessment. No. This is going to be intense. This is going to be your money's worth. What I'm doing is I'm setting an expectation that the $80 you're about to invest in yourself right now, and this isn't just for me to sit across the table for you and go, No, this is going to be intense. This is going to be the start, and this is going to be exciting. So you got to take action on this, right? And that is going to all be documented. So it's going to be intense. We're going to document everything, which means that now you don't have to do anything. You don't have to do any thinking. You don't have to write your own notes. We are going to document everything. So I'm basically showing him how much of this offer that I'm presenting to him is hands offer. All right, which is exactly what clients want, which is exactly what customers want. Customers want to know right off the bat, is this person going to make my life easier or harder? Is this offer going to make my life easier or harder? And if you are able to articulate that to them, then they are more likely to convert. All right. The session is intense and will be all be documented to build a practical plan. So I am going to be documenting his intense session. I'm going to be taking him through it. And this is why sales is also a very masculine frame, because you're guiding them. The masculine is the leader while the feminine is receiving. Okay. So you're putting them through this. Now, here is where it gets very interesting. Whenever it's appropriate with you, send the funds to Hamza@gmail.com. That's his email. We're going to block that out. But whenever it's appropriate with you, send the funds to, what did I do here? I assumed the sale. I didn't say, hey, is that cool with you, by the way? Is this something you want to do? No. I said, whenever it's appropriate with you, send the funds to, look at the words that I use. I use appropriate. Now, what did I do here? I disarmed him. I put the ball in his court. I made it seem like this is now his decision. I'm not pushing it on him, even though it seems like I've already assumed the sale. And by the way, this is our first sales conversation. All this guy did was express interest in working with Hamza. Hamza didn't give him any offer. Hamza didn't say, all right, cool, well, it could be this price, this price. No, this is the first ever sales interaction, and this person closed within 10 minutes. Okay, so whenever it's appropriate with you, which means now I've put the ball in their court, is perceived reality for them. It is a perceived notion that now they're the one making the decision. Okay, when in reality, I've already assumed the close. I've already assumed that they're going to buy. All right, there is no doubt in my mind that we're not going to be working together, right? But in his mind, he still has the optionality of choice, right? Which is exactly the position that we want to put him in. The last thing you want to do is trigger sales resistance, have his guard up, and now he's like, oh, well, I got to think about it, or to be honest, I have some more questions, or I have this, a bunch of objections that could come through. So that's why we use neutral language like appropriate. And why did I use the word funds? Because you never use the word money in any sort of sales conversation. You never use the word pay in any sort of sales conversation. All we are doing in a sales conversation is they are going to be moving their funds over to you. And that's it. It's very neutral language. Okay. So whenever it's appropriate with you, send the funds to this. Now, here's the icing on the cake, because he could still have objections after this. He could still feel like the perceived value of this offer is not that great. And then he might have sales resistance. He might pull back a little bit. He might be like, I want to think about it. He might wait on it a little bit, but we want to get paid right away, right? We want the payment to come through with speed so that we can get started right away. So this is exactly how we did that. Mike told me not to discount sessions, but since you're a man of action, I'm happy to do it for you so we can potentially get started this week. Seems so simple. And that's the thing, is that you want to make it sound simple. You want to make it sound like it's effortless. The more complicated your sales language is, the more it seems like you're pushing onto him. All right. The more it seems like, this person is trying to sell me on something, I need to raise my guard, because what if the thing that they're selling me isn't really good for me? It's not going to take me to my desired outcome. Right. So what we're going to do here is, I said, Mike told me not to discount sessions. But what did I do anyways? I discounted the first session. I went from $100 to $80. Now, I gave a reason as to why I did it, because we started off this whole sales conversation with a price anchor. Mike told me not to discount any sessions, but since you're a man of action, I associated him with being a man of action. And this is something you could even do in a verbal sales conversation. Just throughout the conversation, you can put in some little anchors, be like, yeah, like you seem like a man of action. Yeah. And you know what, man? I'm not really a big fan of people who don't take action right away. Wouldn't you say the same about yourself? Yeah, bro, I don't like people who don't take action right away. You're now you're creating the identity within his brain that he is somebody who takes action. And he has sold himself that. You didn't, right? And that's the key with any sort of persuasive conversation, is that you're never actually pushing anything onto anybody. What people are doing is they're looking at what you are handing to them and they're accepting it themselves. Okay. So all I'm doing is presenting something to them in a very articulate fashion and using applied psychology. And what he is doing is he's going to be grabbing that offer and accepting it himself. Okay. So Mike told me not to discount any sessions, but since you're a man of action, associate him to being a man of action, I'm happy to do it for you so we can potentially get started this week. Now, what did I do here? I subliminally told him that we should get started this week without pushing on him, without saying you should take action on this right away, without saying you should sign right now, otherwise the deal's off the table, which a lot of people do. And sometimes it works. Sometimes it works to be like, yeah, you know what, the offer is here today, but it's not here tomorrow. But for sophisticated buyers, that never works. For people who are A-type personalities, that never works. I've never went to an A-type personality, tried to sell them something, be like, yeah, by the way, the offer is going to go away tomorrow. And they're like, yeah, you're just a slimy sales guy. All right. It never works with them. It might work with people who are B-type, C-type, right? They're a little bit easier to sell. But this guy is an A-type, right? He's a corporate guy. He understands the game. And this is why you trust Hamza, because Hamza wasn't too salesy in the beginning either. Okay. So I'm happy to do it for you since you're a man of action, so we can potentially get started this week. Now, what did I do again? I again put the ball in his court. I did not assume the sale, but I did assume the sale. It is a state of neutrality. I pushed and then I pulled right away. I said, all right, cool. Since you're a man of action, I'm happy to do this for you so we can get started this week. Potentially, though, because the potentially adds that perception of optionality for him. Now he feels like he's the one who's making the decision. He has the power, which is exactly where I want him. I want him to think that he has control over this conversation, but in reality, I'm in control of this conversation. I'm the one handling the negotiation. I have the upper hand, but he will never know that. And nor do we want him to know that. You know, a lot of people, they start ego tripping, thinking that, like, I got to control this person on a sales call. No. You always have to make your prospect feel, whether you're on a call, a DM, whatever it is in person, that they have the optionality of choice. Okay. So we're going to potentially get started this week. That's heavy because it shows that I've associated him to be a man of action, that we can get started this week. Now, when you get it done, let me know. Again, a push. But what did I do right after? Ask any questions if you need to. flex emoji, another pull, because I gave him the optionality of choice again. I told him that, look, I've assumed the sale. You're a man of action. You're going to do this. But you know what? We could potentially get started this week. Whenever it's appropriate for you to send the money, you send it on your terms. And you know what? Even if you're so confused, ask me some questions. And the push, the pull, the push, the pull, the push, the pull in this message, the price anchors, right? Everything here was crafted in a way for him to actually convert. Okay. And that is why messages like this convert, instead of saying, hey, I have this deal. If you're interested, book a call. Sure, it might convert 1 to 3%, but messages like these, especially if you have an audience that is lukewarm, they're not too cold, right? But they know you a little bit. They can see your expertise a little bit. They've seen case studies or testimonials, or they know other people who have worked with you, or they're very problem aware and solution aware, which means that they know they have a problem and they know there's a solution out there and they view you as the solution to their problem. But if you're able to take their hand and guide them to the transformation that they want, then you get them to convert. And exactly what happened. 10 minutes later, cousin gets the email, e-transfer, done. He got paid. And right after that, he got paid in full. And this works across all industries. This works with any ticket offer. In fact, this works better with higher ticket offers than it does with lower ticket offers. You can close somebody for $100,000 up front on a very high ticket offer, just speaking to them in this way, making sure that they have that perception of choice, that optionality of free will, that it's their choice that they're going to buy or not. But in reality, the best of closers, the best of salespeople, they're always in control, but they have frame control. They just know what they're doing, and they never lose their cool. They never, become scarce. They're always abundant, and they know that all I have to do is dangle a good offer in front of this avatar, in front of this potential client, and if I'm able to frame everything correctly, the client will buy, right? But it's all about how you frame it. It's all about how you put in your applied psychology, your price anchors, your cognitive biases, asking the right questions. Like, for example, if this guy came in and asked me a question or had an objection, it would be very easy to handle his objection. Let's say he was like, well, to be honest, man, I've been thinking about it and I don't know if this is really for me. I don't know if I have what it takes. Cool. I would be like, well, I would probably go right there. Since you're a man of action, well, hey, what happened between the last time we spoke and now? You said you were a man of action. Did you all of a sudden not want to be that man of action anymore? And then just sit in silence. You're like, oh man, you're right. Like, to be honest, I guess it's just, and then you can continue objection handling by just asking questions and getting him or her to sell themselves. The best way that you can actually close any deal, be more persuasive, is getting people to close themselves by having that optionality of a choice. And that is why, if this person was still confused and they were like, yeah, man, like I totally want to do it, right? Give me like a week and I'll pay. I'm like, okay, hey, by the way, that's fantastic. You can pay in a week. I'm just confused. Why do you even want to do this? Curious. Why do you even want to do this? Why would any salesperson in their right mind ask that? The guy said he's going to pay in a week. Because I'm confirming the sale in his mind. I'm putting those anchors in his mind that, why do you want to do this? Oh, well, bro, like, to be honest, you're a great coach and I can see this really helping me with my fitness journey, and I can see myself doing more muscle ups in the future and becoming fitter and looking better. Oh, cool. And what would looking better even do for you, bro? Wait, why? Why do you even want to look better? Ridiculous questions in your mind, but in reality, all I'm doing is confirming the sale, because he might pay in a week, but what I'm doing is I'm setting that sense of urgency that he might even want to pay sooner, right? By getting him to answer his own questions and getting him to sell himself. All right. So this was just a quick introduction. Obviously, this is not a full sales course. This is just the DM going over it. So I hope this helped. If you have any questions, leave them down below. If you like videos like this, I can't really know the supply and demand unless you show me that there's demand. So you're going to have to like this video to show me that you want more videos like this. And if you don't, then I would see that and not make any more. But if you want to learn more about sales, about psychology, about persuasion, I've closed deals as big as $1 million, and I've closed deals as small as $80, I guess. So yeah, you can learn some things from me, and I'd be able to help you with that. Subscribe to the channel, and may Allah bless you.